Good evening and welcome to Arizona Illustrated for Wednesday, the 21st of November, 2012. I'm Tony Paniagua. Tens of millions of Americans are getting ready to join the shopping frenzy this Friday, November 23rd. The day after Thanksgiving is known as Black Friday, but while it may be great for national change, locally owned businesses are hoping you can spend some of your money at their establishments. Christopher Conover has an interview about Local First Arizona and Buy Local Month, which begins on Friday.
Joining me now in the studio, Deanna Chevas with the Local First Arizona and Shannon Riggs, owner of Pop-Cycle here in Tucson. Deanna, let's start with you. Black Friday, the holiday shopping season nearly upon us once we all finish digesting our turkey dinners tomorrow. But Local First wants people not to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and line up in front of the big box, but stay in bed and shop locally.
Yes. You can get your doorbusters early if you like, but we also like to encourage folks to come out later in the day and have a little bit calmer, more pleasant shopping experience with some of our many local independent businesses.
And of course, the local first movement, if you will, that keeps a lot of money in Arizona if you're shopping Arizona-based or in Tucson or whatever city you're in if you're buying from locally owned.
Exactly. With the local independent businesses, much more of the money that you spend stays and recirculates in our community.
And Shannon, let's talk about Pop-Cycle. For people who don't know what it is, what is Pop-Cycle, first of all?
Pop-Cycle is a gift shop where everything is made from reclaimed and recycled materials, and a lot of it is made locally, some in-house.
So even more, it's locally owned and locally produced.
Yes, yes.
And just in case somebody wants to go, where is it?
It's on 4th Avenue between 6th and 7th Street. Yeah, right next to the food co-op.
Oh.
That's a good landmark.
Yeah. Exactly. Talk a little bit as a local business owner, and 4th Ave, of course, has lots of local business. Talk about the importance of people remembering you all year-round, but especially at this time of year.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that local businesses give the community its identity, and we want to keep the money in the community. We support a lot of local artists as well, so that they're able to continue to do the things that they do to give our community such a unique culture and identity as well. So.
Deanna, people may not be aware of what businesses are local and which aren't, what services they can get from a local business, a true local business. Can they come to you all to find some of this?
Yeah, on localfirstaz.com, we actually currently have over 2,000 local independent businesses across the state of Arizona. So in our directory, you can find almost anything that you're looking for from a local retailer, including home-based businesses that you can order their products online, services, just about everything.
And let's talk also about spending habits of those of us who are going to be out there spending. You're not asking people to give up the big boxes and spend only locally. You're asking just more for a shift.
Yeah, we encourage people to shift some of their spending to local when they can, and sometimes it's easier than you realize. You can buy Hickman's eggs, you can buy Shamrock Farms dairy products at your grocery store, and you're shifting some of that spending to local producers. So we just ask for folks to think about it and make an effort to patronize some of the local independent businesses, have that new, different, great experience, and keep more of your money in our local economy.
Of course, with local businesses, tough economy, you've been open for a couple of years. Are you starting to see people come back?
Definitely. We have a really good, loyal local clientele that comes back, and we just expanded our store, so it's kind of a new thing for people to come in and check out if they are feeling like there's not something new to see. There is. So yeah, and we got some new artists in. We try to keep it fresh. So definitely.
And I would imagine also, you said keep it fresh. Working with artists, as things get bought, new stuff comes in. So again, a local
I mean, everything's one of a kind, so can't get the same thing twice usually, even if it's just a little bit different. It's always different, yeah.
Talking about the local first movement, I've been here 7 years and have been hearing about it. It seems like it's growing. Is that just awareness of it, or are people really starting to embrace this?
It's definitely a growing movement nationwide and in Arizona. Local First Arizona is coming up on 10 years and about 6 years in Tucson. And our membership of businesses has grown steadily over that time, but also the awareness in the community and people seeking out. The hits that we get to our directory are over 30,000 unique hits a month. People are looking for that experience, and before I had this job, I worked in retail, and I was hearing more and more people coming in saying they wanted the local shopping experience.
And of course, we talked about 4th Ave, where Pop-Cycle is. Lots of local businesses there, but they're not just concentrated there. They're all over town.
Yes. And they're all over the state, including we've got members that are in the Sonoyta region making wine, in all of the outlying communities, and of course, even in Phoenix.
And when it comes to local business, I assume you also, as a local business owner, as a result, patronize local businesses for your business services.
We try our best, to always kind of check. It might be a little extra effort to check up on things and see where you can get something that's local, or if you're shopping for food, try to pick the local producers. But yeah, we do. We try to always, of course, walk the walk. Yeah.
Well, Shannon and Deanna, thank you both for coming in. And Deanna, one thing, Buy Local Month is underway, or is about to be underway.
That's right. We're kicking it off on Friday, Black Friday, at the 4th Avenue Black Friday sale. We'll have a tent there, and then it goes all through Christmas.
All right. Well, thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
While many people will be shopping and celebrating with abundant food and drinks over the holidays, others will be struggling to make ends meet. This is the time of year when many food banks and other organizations experience some of their highest demands for services. Tonight we are joined by a representative from one of these groups. Major Edward Markham is the Corps Officer of the Salvation Army in Tucson. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So obviously the season is about to arrive, but actually it is here. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and you're already getting ready for the Thanksgiving meals that are happening.
Correct. We're already setting up down at the St. Demetrios Greek Orthodox Church down on Fort Lowell. We've got the crews down there right now who are doing all the final food preparations. They're putting up all the decorations, the tables, the chairs, everything. We're anticipating feeding about 4,000 people tomorrow, both through the actual sit-down meal and home-delivered meals that we're going to be taking out as well.
And where do you get all of the food, the turkeys, for example, for this huge event?
It's all donated by people right here in Tucson. For the last several days, especially since we started the advertisement for it, we've had people coming in on a regular basis, dropping off turkeys and stuffing and mashed potatoes and all the other fixings that go along with the Thanksgiving meal, getting it into our hands so that we can prepare it and get it ready to hand to the folks that come to see us tomorrow.
And of course, we've been reporting here in Arizona Illustrated, and all the media across the country have been reporting about the past few years and the huge economic impact that we've had because of the recession. Apparently, we're getting out of that, but you're saying you're not really seeing that with the numbers at the moment.
No, right now we're seeing about a 40% increase over last year for what we have experienced before, for the numbers of people that come to us for, whether it be for the food or utilities or rent or housing or shelter. There is a greater increase. We are still seeing folks that are becoming homeless, and we're trying to meet those needs as best we can with the funding resources that come to us on an annual basis, but it is an increase still. So if there's a downturn coming soon, we're excited about that, but until then, we'll try to meet as many of the needs as we can as they come to us.
What are some of the stories that you hear from people that are applying for services, let's say for the first time? Is it a job loss, an illness in the family, something else?
Pretty much those are the big items. It's the loss of a position to where the family was going pretty much paycheck by paycheck, trying to make the rent, trying to make the utility payments. And they're coming to us and asking the questions, what can I get? What is available for me in this circumstance? A lot of times we are able to see them recovering, but for a few months we're able to help them with the utility bill. We're able to help them with maybe another organization that has rental assistance that can take care of either a mortgage or the rent experience that they have to have. And we do see some folks, though, coming who they're basically weighted to a point to where now it's become homelessness. And they've been taken out of their house, they've been taken out of their job, and they come to us and they look for the shelter that we need to provide for them.
Okay, and after tomorrow, after Thanksgiving meals, then you start working full force again on something else. December holidays coming up.
Oh, yeah.
What happens then?
Christmas is upon us, and as soon as we get done serving the last plate of food on Thanksgiving, then our feet start moving in that direction. And there we raise the same things. We look for the food items that we can get to prepare for the meal that we'll be serving, which will be on Christmas Day also. We are looking for the toys that we can collect for the many families that come to us and look for the assistance to give their children a little bit of normality at Christmas time. It's tough for some families to where you have a hard time paying the rent. You have a hard time getting the utilities and just getting simple meals on the table for the family. Christmas toys is not on the list of to-dos. And through these programs that we have where we get folks that come in with the toys, we get with organizations, different businesses who raise them for us, is an opportunity for us to give those families those toys so that when the kids go back to school in the new year, it's, what did you get for Christmas? Well, I didn't get anything. Well, we don't want to hear a child say that. We want to make sure that they can get that. Along with that, we're going to be distributing turkeys and the gift certificates that folks will need for their make-at-home Christmas meals also.
Many people hear about the Salvation Army in November because of Thanksgiving and December because of those holidays, right. But you are around all year. What happens throughout the rest of the year?
We are 365 days a year. We operate a family services program. We operate our community service activities where we have 4 separate locations here within the city of Tucson, as well as our homeless center, to where we help families with the needs that they have, both with character building programs. We have a GED program. We have homeless shelter. We have all types of things that we can do throughout the year, but especially our homeless shelter. It is literally 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and we see over 100 people a night coming into us and asking for assistance.
And of course, volunteers and donations are vital. How would you categorize that importance from the community?
Very much so, especially during the holiday times. We need a lot more hands. There are greater needs that come to us. It's a large influx of people who come to us with the conditions that they're in. And so we need more hands other than just our regular staff to help take care of those folks and to get the supplies in and get the things out to the families that come to us in need. But also the donations are very much needed. This is our time of the year to where we have to do the most fundraising because it gets a little sketchy throughout the rest of the year. It's easy to remember folks at the holidays. It's easy to remember that somebody will probably be in need at that time. But when the summer months roll around, it gets a little more difficult. It's hard to remember all the things that are needed in a community when you're thinking about summer vacations.
All right, and briefly, if somebody wants to become either a volunteer or make a donation, how do they go about doing that?
They can contact us at the Salvation Army at our city headquarters, which is located at 1001 North Ritchie Boulevard. They can call our main phone number there. We're on the web. Just go to the Salvation Army of Tucson on the internet. You can find all the information out about us.
All right, Major Edward Markham, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck with all of the events coming up.
Thank you very much.
A Tucson resident with an illustrious career passed away in our community last month. Jack Vaughn was the second director of the United States Peace Corps in the 1960s. But he had also been a boxer, a Marine officer in World War II, a U.S. ambassador, and an assistant secretary of state. In this encore presentation of a story from 2011, Vaughn reflects on his experiences and memories while working in the Peace Corps decades ago.
And the Indians carried me around from village to village on their shoulders. And the Army helped out, the Bolivian Army, the new Bolivian Army.
Jack Vaughn is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Peace Corps. He says he was tapped as the first Latin American director of the Peace Corps when many people doubted the viability of the program.
And our ambassador in Senegal, I was living in Dakar, when I said goodbye to him, he said, I'll bet you $10 that the Peace Corps won't last 6 months. 5 years later, I visited him when he'd been transferred to the embassy in London and collected my $10.
Vaughn not only collected his $10 on the 5-year anniversary, he later went on to serve as director of the Peace Corps when he was appointed by Lyndon B. Johnson in 1966.
The original proposal and our proposal to Congress to get our first allotment was that there were 3 objectives. And the first was to get to understand what the needs of the country were and to fulfill those needs. And in so doing, we would learn about, the volunteers would learn about themselves and about the country.
Vaughn says the mission of the Peace Corps is a simple one and revolves around some basic principles: helping the people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained men and women, helping promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the people served, and helping promote a better understanding of other peoples on the part of Americans.
And the Peace Corps is and was the complete opposite of the ugly American. It was, you can't use the word beautiful, but attractive American. And within 2 or 3 years, that term, that cliche, ugly American, had disappeared. Now, with all the wars we've had since, all the wars we're in today, aren't very helpful in reversing it back again. I think probably quite a few people in Afghanistan and Iraq think that we Americans are ugly, but countering that are Peace Corps volunteers who stay the course.
When I moved out here in '98, abandoned it. They said they're not going to run it anymore, so I...
Herb Trossman was a Peace Corps volunteer who stayed the course. He served in the Dominican Republic, where he helped establish fishing cooperatives.
We had specific training. I personally was trained to form cooperatives, but when we got in country, it was so many volunteers arrived in the Peace Corps in the Dominican Republic in the early days that it was hard for the staff to even control and know what we were doing. So we generally picked our own sites. I picked a town in the Northeast, which was as far away as I can get from the capital.
He was assigned to the forestry project in Chile.
Trossman says Tucson has a high concentration of former Peace Corps volunteers. They meet regularly, and many are planning on attending the upcoming 50-year reunion in the Dominican Republic. He says the experiences in the field were life-defining for many volunteers.
Nearly everybody knew what to do. Once they got into their communities, they found things to do, and they were very, very active. And although we didn't get to see each other very often because it was so remote and transportation wasn't easy, we formed a bond that lasts to this day.
Trossman says he's glad to have had the chance to participate in the Peace Corps, and he's happy to have met Jack Vaughn, a man he says is an important part of the Peace Corps legacy.
That's where the Peace Corps shines. You go to areas where education is either poor or the people have not been educated, gone to school, and where facilities, good water, good agricultural practices, all the rest are nil.
Vaughn says the people that are motivated to join the Peace Corps share the same attributes and understand the importance of the work.
The spectrum of Peace Corps volunteers is so great, so interesting. We had college graduates, we had high school graduates, we had PhDs. So many of them found that what had been their hobby became their career.
This time of year, you will have plenty of opportunities to attend special concerts or other memorable events to celebrate the holiday season. And tonight we have information about one of these functions that will incorporate hundreds of thousands of lights as one of its features. It is happening at Tohono Chul Park in Northwest Tucson, and we are joined by a couple of guests to tell us more. Marcia Ring is the Director of Marketing and Communications at Tohono Chul Park, and Francis Epsen is the President of the Board of Ballet Tucson. Thanks for being here.
Hi, happy holidays.
Thank you so much. Marcia, let's begin with you. So it's called Holiday Nights. If you could, tell us a little bit about the history of this function.
Well, Tohono Chul Park has been celebrating the holidays for over 20 years. And just like the park, each year it grows a little bit more. Currently, we have almost 1 million lights that blanket the park, which is actually a botanical garden. So it's just a beautiful place to be. Tons of performances, hot mochas and cookies and hot cider, all sorts of things. It's lots of fun for families, and it's also an incredibly romantic evening.
Okay, so, and you will have it over 2 weekends. We'll talk about each of those 2 weekends in a second. But Frances, why is Ballet Tucson here as part of the discussion about Tohono Chul Park?
Well, for the past several years, Ballet Tucson has participated in this event. And what we will do is a little reenactment of the traditional Nutcracker. We call it Nutcracker in a nutshell, if you would. It will be performed by the Ballet Tucson, the children's ensemble, along with 2 professional dancers from Ballet Tucson, Michelle Siegel and Ben Tucker as Drosselmeyer. And it will begin at 6 p.m. with performances happening every half hour. There will also be a drawing for a Nutcracker, as well as we're giving away free tickets to the Nutcracker performance, which will be coming up.
And just to be clear, Marcia, these events are going to be held on Friday and Saturday of this weekend and next. Let's begin with this weekend. What's happening on Friday and Saturday?
Well, this weekend, besides Ballet Tucson, which is absolutely charming and one of the favorite parts of the event, we have Joe Bourne performing. We have the Madeira Strings, which is a chamber group that's performing, Tucson Women's Chorus, Ballet Tucson, of course, and just a bunch of other things going on with the park. We also have Frosty the Snow Person that will be wandering around, very popular.
Okay, and then the next weekend, a weekend from this, after Thanksgiving, what's happening then?
Next weekend, we're really excited. For the first time, we have Domingo de Gracia and his band. And so that's always a huge draw. We also have a piano sing-along with Kyle Bronson. Way Out West will be performing. So there's all sorts of stuff that's going on that weekend also. Okay,
great. And Frances, so you are, the little presentation that's going to be happening on Friday and Saturday is a precursor to something much bigger that's going to be held December 21st to 23rd. What is that?
That is the traditional set in the Victorian era Nutcracker that will be performed this year at the Centennial Hall with 5 performances, starting with the Friday night, 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. Ballet Tucson's Nutcracker was voted Best Dance Performance in Tucson 5 years in a row now by the Tucson Weekly in their Best of series. All the costumes, all the sets are made locally. It is just a wonderful time for families to get together and just kick off that Christmas season in the spirit of the old world.
Great. And then, Marcia, of course, we're talking about what's going to be happening this weekend and next, but what about long term or a little bit longer term in 2013? What do you foresee happening at Tohono Chul?
Well, Tohono Chul always has something going on. There's classes, lectures, book signings, trunk shows. Our plant sales are always popular. We have our spring gala coming up. And of course, this spring, we will have Bloom Night again. So, just keep checking back. Every week there's something happening. Okay. And Frances, what about 2013 for Ballet Tucson?
Well, 2013, we have a great season planned, starting in February with the Passionately Piazzolla, which will be based on the life of Astor Piazzolla, who revolutionized Argentine tango. And that will be taking place at the Temple of Music and Art. We will have our annual dance and dessert. But I also would like to mention that on December 2nd of this year still, we will have our Sugar Plum Tea at the University Marriott. And to get information on all that, all they have to do is go to ballettucson.org.
Oh. Okay, and then Marcia, what do you think is the best part about holiday nights and the lights and everything else that people will be able to see at Tohono Chul Park?
The performances are always amazing, but the truth is the park lit up at night. It's a gorgeous, beautiful place to be during the day, but with all of the lights, it truly turns magical. That's always the number one word we hear to describe it when they see it. So it's just a wonderful place to be with your loved ones and enjoy the holiday season.
All right, and Frances, any closing thoughts about Ballet Tucson?
Well, yes, we were very proud to have a professional company here in Tucson. We're one of few cities across the country that has that privilege with the economic times that we've lived in. We've survived, and we've been praised, and we've been supported, and I'd like to thank everybody who does that.
All right, and of course, if anybody wants more information about either of the two organizations, TohonoChulPark.org.
Correct.
And then Ballet Tucson.
Ballet Tucson with 2 T's.
Okay.
Run together.
Very good. Just spell it right, Ballet and then Tucson. Right. Thank you very much, Marcia Ring and Francis Epsen. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
In tonight's video postcard from photographer and editor Santiago Batti, we take you to the Earth Harmony Festival that was recently held near Rio Rico. Here are some sights and sounds you can enjoy in nature. You can get more news and information on our website, azpm.org. To comment on any story you saw tonight, click on it online. We can also be reached via Facebook and Twitter. Coming up tomorrow night, Arizona Illustrated will be preempted for a special 4-hour marathon of Masterpiece Theater that begins at 3 in the afternoon and will air until 7 p.m. On Friday night at 6:30, we'll return with Jim Ninsel and the Political Roundtable. I'm Tony Paniagua. From all of us at Arizona Public Media, have a great Thanksgiving weekend.